All right, question number 5 says, the cumulative frequency curve below shows the information about the times taken by 200 students to solve a mathematics Olympiad problem. All right, so we have our cumulative frequency curve. At the bottom, we have time in minutes. So for the cumulative frequency, this would be the upper class boundary. And over to the left, you have the cumulative frequency. All right, A says, using the cumulative frequency curve, find an estimate for the number of students who took more than 50 minutes to solve the problem. All right, so the first thing we need to do is to find out which student took 50 minutes to solve the problem. So time is at the bottom axis. At 50 minutes, I'm going to draw a vertical line up. Using my ruler, I draw a vertical line up. And what I want to identify is where this vertical line meets the graph. Anywhere the vertical line meets the graph, I'm going to draw a horizontal line across. So what this is telling me is that, all right, now the next thing I need to do is I need to read off this value. The next thing I need to do is I need to read off this value. All of a sudden, this thing just went like almost like my battery life is going, but I'll look at that in a second. All right, so let's read off that value. So first of all, this is 80 and this is 80 and this is 200. So 1 centimeter here is representing 20 units. If you divide 20 by 5, each of these is representing 4 units. So 200 minus 4, this is 196. So what is this saying? Over to the left, you have the students. Over here is where we have our students. And down by the bottom is where we have the time that the student is taking. So what this is saying is that student number 196 score out of 100 took 50 minutes to complete the question. Everybody above him took more than 50 minutes and everybody below him took less than 50 minutes. So since I want those who took more, I need to know how many persons are above him. The answer is 200. The answer is 200 minus 196. The answer is 4 students. How many students took more than 50 minutes to complete the problem? The answer is 4. Next, we're asked for the median time taken. So the median is the time taken by the student in the middle. There are a total of 100 students. So at the top here is N. N is 200. N divided by 2 is 100. So this is N over 2. At 100, I'm going to draw a horizontal line across. And what I want to note is where that line meets the curve. And where it meets the curve, I'm going to draw a vertical line downwards. So I draw my vertical line downwards here. All right. And I want to read off that time. The minutes down here, each of these minor division is 1 minute. So this is Q2, which is the median, is 33 minutes. All right, so I'm going to say Q2, which is the median, is 33 minutes. So the minutes is the time taken by the student in the middle. All right, there are a total of 200 students. So the student is in the middle is the 100th student you come across. Where you touch the curve, you draw a vertical line down. The median is 33 minutes. Next, we're asked the probability that a student chosen at random took more than 28 minutes to solve the problem. So let's find out how many students took more than 28 minutes to solve the problem. So first we need to find out who took 28 minutes. So 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 28 there. So we have to identify where 28 is, because our objective is to find out who scored 28 on the test. So at 28, I'm going to draw a vertical line up. So I draw my vertical line up. My objective is to see where it cuts the line. And where it cuts the line, I'm going to draw a horizontal line across. All right. Remember, on the vertical axis, each of these, the minor division represents 4 students. So this is saying that the 64th student scored 28 marks on the test. That is what it's saying. Everybody above him scored more than 28 marks. So the number of students with marks greater than or equal to at most, oh Lord, I'm interpreting this thing wrong. At most, how many students score at most 28 minutes? Sorry, how many students took 28 minutes? At most means 28 minutes or less. At most means it doesn't go more than 28 minutes. How many students took 28 minutes or less? So it's the number of students. The number of students with time that is less than or equal to 28 minutes. That would be 64. So the 64th student, he took 28 minutes. Everybody below him took less than 28 minutes. So himself plus everybody below him is a total of 64 persons. So the probability that the time is less than or equal to what, 28 minutes, is the probability is 64 students out of 200 students. So that is my answer. Now I can simplify that to, I could sometimes write it as a percentage. I sometimes like to write my percentages as a decimal. So it would be as a decimal, this is 0.32. Or I sometimes write it as a percentage, which is 32%. So there's a 32% chance of selecting a student that would take 28 minutes or less, or choosing a student at random that would take 28 minutes or less to solve the problem.
Recording in progress.
All right, so let's move on to the B part of the question. All right, it says using the cumulative frequency curve on page 13, complete the table below. So the first thing we want is the frequency for the time interval 11 to 20 minutes. All right, so let's find out now who took 20 minutes. Let's find out the cumulative frequency. So we have cumulative frequency. All right, and I'm saying cumulative frequency because, so at this level it's 12. Let's find the cumulative frequency at this level. To do that now, I need to go back to my graph. So let's go for 20. Let's see if I can change the color here. Because we have a lot of blue on the, we have a lot of blue. It's not here, I got to change color. All right, let's change it to red because we have a lot of blue. So at 20.5, I'm gonna go up. 20.5 is here. Somebody might say, sir, why 20.5? I'll tell you. 20.5, because when you're drawing your cumulative frequency curve, what you actually use is the upper class boundary. The upper limit is 20, but the upper class boundary would be 25. So what I want to note is where that line, this line meets the curve. It meets it here. So wherever it meets the curve, I'm going to draw my horizontal line. So draw my horizontal line here, and I'm going to read off that value. So when in reading off that value, it's 4 less than 30. This is the 30. The cumulative frequency here is 36. So going back down to here, the cumulative frequency here is 36. Now you get cumulative frequency by adding frequency. So if I add the frequency from here and the frequency here, I should get 36. All right. So if I add the frequency from the first level and the frequency from the second level, I must get 36. So therefore, to get the frequency at the second level, I'm going to take away the cumulative frequency at the first level from the cumulative frequency at the second level. All right, I can explain that in more in detail in the question section. All right, so the value here should be 36 minus 12. The value here should be 24. If the value there is 24 and the frequency is 24, to get the value to the right, which is fx, which is the frequency times the class midpoint, I'm going to multiply the 24 by the 15.5. I'm going to get 372. So the value here is 372. All right, now to get the frequency here, I'm going to use the fact that the sum of the frequency must be equal to the sum of the frequency must be equal to the number of values. Now, the number of values is 200. The number of values is 200. So to get the frequency at this level, which is at for the class 41 to 50, all I'm simply going to do is add up all the frequency and take them away from 200. And when I do that, I'm going to end up with 34 here. I'm going to end up with 34 here. All right. When I multiply 34 by 45.5, I'm going to end up with 1,547. So we're asked to complete the table, and we did. All right. This is something that you all need to be able to do. Next, we're told using the information in the completed table above, calculate an estimate of the mean. Now, for group data, the mean X bar is equal to the sum of fx divided by n. We have the fx column. I need the sum of fx. So I'm going to add up all of the fx values to get the sum of fx. When I did that, I got 6,260. So the mean X bar is the sum of fx, 6,260, divided by the number of values n, which is 200. And the mean I'm getting is, this looks like 31.3 minutes. The average time taken to solve the problem is 33.1 minutes. All right, and that is the end of the question.